You guys, I'm coming in with the hot take today. What is going on? So, this is a little bit different than my normal video. I've actually touched on this a few times in different videos, but I'm just going to go ahead and make the shortest version possible I can make about this specific topic, right? So, if, for example, this actually happens to every country, I believe, right? So, like in America, people will say like the American dream, right? And I know you never heard like the Chinese dream or like like something like that, but like essentially the core of this is you're brought up through society, and they tell you certain things, right? And you learn them from those older than you, your friends, your family, your teachers, different public systems, the government, all of these things, right? So you have ideas and beliefs instilled in you as you grow up. And for a long time, a lot of people don't even question these things. So this is step number one, is reaching a point where you start to question why you believe these things are true. Are they? And why would these people be telling you these things? Like, why do they want you to think specific ways, right? So I'll give you an excellent example, right? So for the U.S., there's a lot of things that we're told and we're not told, right? But just to keep this very simple, we're told to grow up, go to school, get good grades, maybe go to college, which for a lot of people requires a significant amount of student loans, equaling student debts afterwards. And then you get a job, the one that you maybe went to college for, and you work that job. You keep doing that, save some money, you buy a house, or you get a loan or a mortgage out on a house. You get that. You got a place to live. Now maybe you start taking dating or relationships more seriously, or maybe you were already doing that, right? And they tell you like, okay, now, like around the time of getting the house, before or after, whatever you do, is when you should be considering marriage and kids, right? And so they almost give you like a step-by-step, like, this is the American dream, like this, you're an American, like this is what you should do, right? And I'm really only making this video to bring this to your awareness, if you haven't already thought about it, because a lot of people are completely okay with that. They don't feel the need to question it, and that's fine. That's fine. And there's a lot of people who will have a feeling of like, whoa, okay, like I don't know how I feel about that. Like, I want to take more information in from other sources and decide what I really want to do with my life without being told. Because even different examples, right, are like, some people just become doctors or lawyers because that's what their parents did, or that's what their parents wanted them to do, right? Rather than actually doing something that they wanted. And I've talked about this a few times, so I'm going to bring this back in now, just a short example. But John D. Rockefeller of the Rockefeller family basically got together with the school board system in the U.S. a long time ago and was like, we want a nation of workers and not free thinkers, which means workers, like, you go to school, you work the job, you're good at following instructions for your boss or the business owner, right? And the business owner is, they are a bit of the worker side, but what he's saying is he doesn't want you to be a free thinker as much. So it's like, not as creative. So your inner child, like they suck that out of you a little bit, and so as an adult, it's been programmed into you not to be so creative with your life, which is why there's less entrepreneurs and people who are like absolutely crushing it in terms of wealth, right? Which is why we have like such a massive divide, I believe, in the economy. And first, I have to say this too, because I've heard some people talk about it, like Justin Waller, for example. I do believe that there's nothing wrong with doing other kinds of work, right? Like we need doctors, we need construction workers, we need carpenters and plumbers and like all these different things, right? Like that's the way our society has been built to run. My only question to you is, if you've ever thought that you were meant for more, then this is probably a sign for you right now to start figuring out what you can do to be like one of the other people who is just making money online, right? Maybe teaching something that they're good at online, creating a course or a coaching program or an online community, right? Like it's again, like it's arrogant to think that there's so many people doing that have leveled up their lifestyle that you can't do it as well. Like for some reason, like you can't do it. So, and a great example of that too is like there's a lot of doctors and construction workers, funny enough, that work crazy long shifts, like really long hours, and it's not really the healthiest for them in their lifestyle. And if you want to be like the hustle and grind culture person, like I applaud you. Like if that's what you really want, right? And of course I respect hard work 100%, but you have to be able to work smart or hard and smart, right? Like the construction worker or even the doctors are perfect examples of that, right? Like they work so hard, but they don't really get paid enough for what they do, right? I mean, I'm not going to go into, let's say, some of the things that may be right or wrong about the healthcare system in this video. But the world it benefits from having health specialists, right? And oftentimes, at least with the doctors, right, it's like, at least the way the US runs, it's in a way where, they are sort of brought up for the doctors to like prescribe you medications for things, and like you have to take that a bunch, you have to take that for the rest of your life, and it's like not actually healing you. And oftentimes what heals you is the really basic stuff that a lot of people like aren't really willing to do, right? Like sleep right, drink enough water, exercise daily, eat right, because there's a lot of things wrong with like the foods in America, like the processed foods and GMOs and like all this other stuff. Like it's largely artificial, which is why a lot of Americans have health issues, right? And then let's just take this to the other side. Like doctors work really hard. You can tell like a lot of them are like pretty sleep deprived, and they could be getting paid more, but they could also be being taught ways to help actually cure people, right? Now let's leave that one on the table for a while and talk about like construction workers. They work like 12 hours a day or more, super tired, and they build the things that we need in our society, or we need, right? Like all the different offices and highways and these different things that we run on currently, right? And you have to have a lot of respect for that, right? Because we wouldn't have these things if it weren't for them. So massive respect to these guys. I 100% agree with Justin Waller on that. Like, the world runs because of men, right? So I want you to really think about these things and the fact that you can break out of that. There's always going to be more than enough of the kind of person who's going to do those things. So what if you started challenging some of your beliefs on how you could be more creative with a skill set that you already have or a skill set that you want to learn and help others. Teach that skill to them so they can make money or do something like that, maybe. I mean, that's just one idea, right? There's tons of ways that you can do this, but this is to plant a seed of an idea. Like how can you start being more creative? Is there something that you've always wanted to do that you've always suppressed for your 9 to 5 or your job or whatever, right? Like, I want you to start really being more self-aware and waking up to some of these things, right? Because some people may not know, but there's certain companies that own just about everything in the US. So it's like, it's funny because like it looks like there's like, you know, quote unquote like competition between the companies, but there isn't really, right? And a lot of the same people benefit from you going into debt for student loans or a mortgage for your house. And I mean, I heard something pretty recently that was a really interesting thought. Like millionaires buy houses or, you know, villas or all these different places and Lamborghinis and XYZ, and then billionaires, not that they don't indulge maybe a little bit, but billionaires rent apartments, which was a kind of a crazy thought to me. But if I thought about it a bit more, it's like, well, yeah, they're mobile, right? They're doing something to create that kind of wealth for themselves, and they're mobile, and they can only sleep in one house and one bed at a time. They can only be in one Ferrari or Bugatti at a time, right? And I mean, nothing wrong with that, but it's just like, again, tapping into potential money limiting beliefs. Like, there's money and opportunity all around you, and abundance, like positive abundance in general, right? Like, I mean, there's so many times where we're restricting ourselves or creating resistance just in our own head, right? Like if you didn't have some kind of anxiety or resistance, you know, you might be able to just like go talk to that girl and create an amazing relationship, or go create that company and start doing really well for yourself, or, you know, just start connecting with these great opportunities and create the life that you've always really wanted to live. Not the American dream, your dream or your vision. And I mean, I think that goes for a lot of countries across the world. Like, there's certain things that you're told, certain things that you're not, and they instill certain beliefs in you. And really, the whole point of this video is to challenge you to start thinking more for yourself so that you can create the life you want and provide for your future family. I think that's a good note to end this video on. There's so much that could be said here. That's just like a watered down introduction to this kind of thinking. Because, I mean, this could be talked about for hours, 100%. But I hope this helps. I hope this brings some awareness to your life and more critical thinking about the direction that you can go for your vision. And by the way, I want you to start picturing and feeling what it would be like to live that dream vision, like that future self. Because when you attach that emotion to it, it's going to come to you a lot faster. You got it? I know you do. Later.